Howdy everybody, how are we all doing today? I am not out in the garden today because I don't think my phone would last very long. Clean this up a little bit here. It was dusty, but 114 degree heat index today. It's only 94 with 66% humidity. But yeah, I don't think my phone would last very long out there trying to live stream. So I'm doing it from inside, and we'll go out later and take a look at the garden. I don't know, let me see here real quick. Hey, how's everybody doing? Okay. Good to see you, Chris. Yeah, I didn't want to cut into glow busters, but I don't want to get started too late because I got to get up early in the morning. It seemed like the stuff they were debunking was stuff that we've all debunked years ago. That video shouldn't be getting any traction like it is, but you know. So I guess there's something I wanted to cover back in the yeah, it's all newbie stuff. It needs to be gone over for all the new people and all that kind of stuff, but I've heard it 100 times. The verba secretorum hermetis. It's that one thing I read last week, and I said we were going to go over before we finished, and I forgot to go over it. But it all has to do with him. He starts talking about the earth and the fire and the water, and does he even mention the wind in here? But the four forces, fire, let's see, the way they put it, I want to make sure. Oh, come on. Here it is. The fire is the strong nuclear force. So when they talk about the fire in alchemy, they're talking about a strong nuclear force, and that force is the force that is holding everything together. It's making matter. You know, it's whatever matter is, however it works. They say there's an energy that is holding keeping everything together. And it makes up the elements and all that kind of stuff. So that's your strong nuclear force. That's your fire. And then your water is your weak nuclear force. Now the weak nuclear force has to do with radioactive breakdown and decay. The fire is fusion, and the water is fission, nuclear fission. And that's the slowly release of an electron here, an electron there, and what it tells me is that nothing lasts forever, and when you release one electron and something's going, it turns into an electron, to me that would be considered helium. So it breaks itself down, and as it's breaking itself down, it's creating helium, and then the helium travels back up to the positive source in the sky, the celestial fire. And then it comes back down into rainwater and turns into, and we'll get into all that, but everything is made through the rainwater. the rocks, the plants, the animals. It was all made. In this book, it says you can grow plants from rainwater without a seed. I don't know. So that's the weak nuclear force, is the thing that's breaking everything down slowly. And then you have your electromagnetic force, which they call the air. And I believe that is what is moving the sun and the moon and the stars and making all this, the sky rotate. It's that little 15-degree an hour rotation that we pick up on our, I forget what they're called, those one super sensitive gyroscopes that pick that up. And then you have your earth, which they would call gravity, okay? But gravity it's another form of electricity. So in all these ancient books, the oldest thing we have, the ancient tablets of Hermes, supposedly the oldest thing we have, they're talking about physics and how electricity governs everything and how nature is run by these four forces. Hold on, I'm going to let my dog in. He's starting to whine and... Okay, buddy. Come on. Come on, guys. Just settle down. Don't knock over the camera. Okay. Calm down. So those are the four forces. When they talk about the four forces, fire, that's what they're talking about. So I'm going to read that one part one more time. This is from the Verba Secretorum Hermetis, from the Emerald Tablets of Hermes Trismegistus. The legend has it that the tablet predates the biblical flood and was inscribed by Thoth himself on a large plate of alchemically produced emerald. And here's the passage. It is true, certain, and without falsehood, that whatever is below is like that which is above. Now, here it's about electricity. And that which is above is like that which is below. To accomplish the one wonderful work, as all things are derived from the one only thing, by the will and by the word of the one only one, who created it in his mind. So all things owe their existence to this unity by the order of nature, and can be improved by adaptation to that mind. Not of that mind, but adaptation to that mind. Its father is the sun. Its mother is the moon. The wind carries it in its womb, and its nurse is the earth. This thing is the father of all perfect things in the world. Its power is most perfect when it has again been charged or changed in earth. Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, but carefully and with great judgment and skill. It ascends from earth to heaven. So did you get that? When you separate the earth from the fire, when you separate the force of gravity from the force of whatever's holding matter and all that stuff together, it ascends from the earth to the heaven. Just like the noble gases and all that kind of things that become lighter, less dense do, and descends again, newborn to the earth, taking unto itself thereby the power of the above and the below. So it's a cycle. The energy falls down from above, and it turns in, it gets congealed into rainwater. And in this book, it'll tell us how many different chemicals we can get out of the rainwater. It's amazing how much stuff falls with the rain. It's in very minute amounts, and you have to collect a lot of rain to gather it. Let me get back to it now. It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and descends again, newborn, to the earth, taking unto itself thereby the power of the above and the below. Thus the splendor of the whole world will be thine, and all darkness shall flee from thee. This is the strongest of all powers, the force of all forces, for it overcometh all subtle things, and can penetrate all that is solid. For thus was the world created, and rare combinations and wonders of many kinds are wrought. Hence I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having mastered the three parts of the wisdom of the whole world. What I have to say about the masterpiece of the alchemical art, the solar work, is now ended. And that's how you end a book right there. Okay. Yeah, it means so much more when you know what he's trying to say. It doesn't just mean the earth and the air and all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to get into chapter 3, astrology and alchemy. As above, so below. Astrology is intimately connected with the Hermetic philosophy and supplies much of the guidance for practical applications of the alchemist's art. The forces of nature have their reflection at all levels of reality: the salt, the sulfur, and mercury. Man is a microcosm inseparable from his macrocosmic environment. The sun has always been considered the source of all life and light in our system. The sun radiates out. The planets absorb what they need, then radiate the excess. This forms the complex interplay of subtle energies that reach our planet and form the basis for astrological studies. See, I don't believe that. But he's probably still living on a ball, this guy, it sounds like. The stars also exert their energies and enter into this constant interplay. Advances in radio astronomy have shown that we are constantly receiving energy fingerprints from many stars as well as the planets. In practice, all things are considered to be the product of their natural cycles. For example, medicinal plants are harvested at the correct time in relation to the plant part required. When the plant is operated on in the laboratory, each stage should be done at an optimal astral configuration, harmonious to that operation. It has been said that without knowledge of astrological tools and methods, the production of a true alchemical medicine is not possible. Each illness appears like a vibratory disharmony or dissonance to our particular waveform or field. Using a system of correspondences, alchemical medicine seeks to restore the harmony of our true selves. From ancient traditions to modern scientific studies, we know that medicinal herbs have psychological effects on specific organ systems. Herbs, like the organs they affect, are considered to fall under the influence of a particular planet or sign of the zodiac on the basis of an affinity. Each planetary sphere has a unique energetic expression and signature qualities associated with it, such as color, musical tones, parts of the body, diseases, medical effects, herbs, stones, and metals. For example, the planet Venus is said to be the ruler of copper, metal, and the herb yarrow, as well as affecting the kidneys in man. This rulership is a two-way interaction called sympathy. and refers to the planetary energies as they affect our world, and things of this world manifesting the different qualities of these planetary energies. Today we might describe this sympathy as resonance. So it's like how two things harmonize together. Each thing below then has a characteristic waveform resonating with planetary energies from above in specific ways. Within man's occult anatomy, so within man's hidden anatomy, these planetary representatives were often referred to as our interior stars. In practical alchemy, the timing of astrological events is used to assist various aspects of the work on the three levels: salt, sulfur, and mercury. In the work with plants, the moon's disposition is a very important consideration. The waxing moon is good for enriching an essential element and circulations or distillations. Its magnetic influence draws things up, volatilizing, exalting, and spiritualizing them. The waning moon is good for separating the pure from the impure, whether by distillation, extraction, or calcination. Just as the dying moonlight, our matter is subjected to the fermentation and putrefaction of death in order to release its essence, thus separating the pure and the impure. Astrology helps to harness subtle forces, which have an influence on our subject matter. That there are physical forces at play has been demonstrated through studies such as crystallization experiments and capillary dynamics, but there is also a subtle, spiritual aspect we seek to capture as well. Our material subject is the magnet which gathers the energy and holds it. So the waxing moon, that's when it's starting to fill again, I believe. After the new moon, you have the waxing, and it'll start its path to getting bigger. So maybe the first quarter moon might be the best time for the waxing, I'm not sure. And then your waning moon is when the sun has passed your moon. Or no, the new moon would be the waning after the new moon. After the full moon. Is that right? Can you help me here, Chris? I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, the waning moon is leaving the sun. So that would be after your new moon. And a waxing moon would be on your way after the full moon. So after a full moon, enriching an essential element by circulations or distillations, its magnetic influence draws things up. The waning moon is good for separating the pure from the impure. Also distillation. See, that's not very... I'm going to have to get... I know my other book talks a lot more about it. I'll do a little bit of research and we'll come back to that. Because I know the moon has a lot more to do with it than just that right there. Okay, thank you, Chris. Yeah, waxing moon is after a full moon. There you go, Josh. Okay, now this brings us to the importance of the birth chart. Our personal natal horoscope provides us with a powerful tool for understanding our own energy signature and how it is affected by other energy forms, including matter. A detailed examination of the birth chart takes time, but reveals one's essence. The first concepts to examine in order to use this system are the individual planets and zodiacal signs, their energies, and rulerships. By developing an understanding of these sympathies and their interactions with each other, we can work to rectify the energetic imbalances that can lead to illness, and also work to strengthen specific energies within ourselves for physical or spiritual improvement. Each individual at birth is considered to be of a particular zodiac type, in that their energetic imprint predisposes them to a particular temperament and also a predisposition to an organ weakness, which is particular to that sign of the zodiac. There are a few approaches to working with planetary energies for healing. The most simple is to use the individual planetary energies to support organs, systems, or functions of the body, or use them to oppose disorders, all according to planetary rulership. Another technique for using the planetary system of healing involves a more in-depth study of the birth chart and of the whole self, rather than just the treatment of passing symptoms and illnesses. It offers much deeper and longer-lasting balance and wellness. In this approach, the birth information of the individual is examined and planetary affinities are determined. I don't know. The concept behind this is that at the time of birth, the planetary energies are locked up in physical material and have a determined reflection, stamping their influences and energies at each level of being. The rulership of the various houses in the birth chart reveals all types of personal qualities, such as strengths, weaknesses, disease and health tendencies, and affinities for certain methods of treatment. The planetary energies can also be deliberately introduced in order to produce certain effects on the body, mind, or spiritual level of a person. Each planetary influence can be experienced and worked with in turn to create physical and spiritual balance. In alchemical works, the pattern of life, death, rebirth is often repeated upon the subject in various forms. For example, during distillation, our liquid passes into an invisible state, then condenses and manifests in an improved form. The alchemists viewed this as an analogous to death, a visit to the spiritual world, then rebirth in the physical. Similarly, during recrystallization, our matter is dissolved into a medium and becomes clear, then made to reappear as an improved form. In astrology, the birth chart shows the imprint of the cosmos on the individual at birth. So too, during those periods of rebirth of our matter, there is the imprint of the heavens. By repeatedly reinforcing a particular planetary power during these multiple rebirths, our subject becomes polarized to that force. Wow. So as you're making your, as I'm speaking to my plants, they're going to die. And I'm going to crush them down and separate them and distill them and bring them back together again and make them again. And I'm going to have to, I'm going to be talking to a new being then. A more purified being. I'm on here. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So it's going to be, so every time you do that, and sometimes you'll have to distill it. Settle down, buddy, come on. You'll have to distill it 7 to 12 times to make some of these tinctures. That's just an herbal alchemy, and rocks and mineral alchemy, when you're dealing with ores, it takes even more. So determining on what is in the sky when you're doing this stuff, just above your head, is important. That's what this is saying. Because those certain... Now, see, I'm not sure if it's exactly at that time. You would think that while it's germinating in its incubator, while you're keeping it warm, that it would be affected by all the planets. Really, you would think. Come on, buddy, no. No bone right now. Settle down. Sorry about that. But all the planets, you would think, I mean, they all pass over our head every day. Some are slower moving around the sun, they say, but we see them all every night. Or they all pass over our head every day. So I'm not sure if it's... I don't know. That's another reason why I wasn't... The whole alchemy and astrology just didn't... Is it at nighttime? Is it at the exact moment when you're doing this that you should try to, like, as I'm actually burning the ash down, or burning the plant residue down to turn it into ash to gather just the salt? Is that when I want to have it under a certain planetary rule? When I'm actually doing these certain... I mean, you really need to know your astrology then, and what's above our heads, just the astronomy of it all. I have a lot of learning to do. I have a whole lot of learning to do. And that was it for that chapter about astrology. He doesn't get in-depth into it. I will find some better books on that, and we'll go into that in more depth, because I think there's a lot more to it than what he covered there. But it's a nice little primer, as you would say. Hey Josh, how we doing, man? Good to see you here. Now we're going to get into chapter 4, an introduction to laboratory alchemy. And this is where we get into learning about the spagyrics. This is from Megaphon's commentary on Mutus Liber. It is therefore necessary that theory is accompanied by practice, the one being the consequence of the other. Only laboratory practice gives mastership, for what is practice if not controlled by theory? The rigor of the former corrects the vagaries of the latter. The disciple must exalt himself to realize all his concepts. So that's something that a lot of these astrophysicists need to hear. Is it therefore necessary that theory is accompanied by practice? The one being the consequence of the other. Only laboratory practice gives mastership. Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, so what it's saying is the only way to get better at anything is to practice. You can theorize about how to do things better all day long, but until you actually go out and do them, you don't even know how well you're doing it. Then you have to do it again, and you have to do it again, and you have to do it again. This isn't something that you're going to master on the first try. Don't get discouraged. It's like everything else. So moving on, in practical alchemy, there is only the one thing, and all that we perceive is an adaptation of that one. The one takes on the clothing of the 4 elements to bring forth the 3 essentials of sulfur, mercury, and salt. It is the work of the alchemist to separate, purify, and recombine these basic principles until they are in perfect proportion and harmony with each other. Alchemy is all about bringing things to a greater state of perfection. This is from Paracelsus. Everything which is generated of its elements is divided into three, namely into salt, sulfur, and mercury. Learn the form which is peculiar to these three. One is liquor, and this is the form of mercury. One is oiliness, which is the form of sulfur, and one is alkali, and this is from salt. And that makes up everything right there. Oh, is it lagging? Spagyrics. The three philosophical essentials are mirrored to even the physical level and manifested through particular forms which are harmonious to their nature. The practical alchemist seeks to physically separate these three essentials from a substance. Sorry about that. The practical alchemist seeks to physically separate these three essentials and from a substance purify them and recombine them. A process termed spagyrics by Paracelsus. The word spagyric, pronounced spa-gyr-ik, is derived from the Greek word meaning to separate and reunite. The general process used in spagyrics consists of three main steps. Separation of the three essentials. Purification. And cohobation, or recombining. Learning to spagyrically prepare herbs is a typical starting point for laboratory alchemy. It provides experiences which develop skill and understanding of the art and science involved, and can provide you with some very powerful remedies along the way. These first experiments with plant lead the way to the lesser circulation, or plant stone, which is very similar to the greater circulation, which produces the philosopher's stone. Before we talk about the easy method, that's the way I did it the first time, I want to describe the process in another more detailed fashion because I think it more clearly illustrates the separation of the three essentials. Let us say that we have selected the sun-ruled herb rosemary to work upon. With an eye to the sun and moon's disposition, we gather some fresh rosemary, chop it finely, and place it into a flask with a little water to make paste. We let it stand a while to loosen up. Then steam is injected into the herb paste, and the hot vapors arising are captured in a cooling condenser. The distillate contains water from the steam, and floating on the water will form a layer of oil, the essential oil of rosemary. This oil we collect. It is the first of the three essentials and represents what the alchemists called the alchemical sulfur of the plant. The oil is a material analog or vehicle for the subtle principle of sulfur, the soul, or the character of the plant. Our rosemary remains in the flask as a watery mush, and we allow this to ferment. In fermentation, the plant dies and gives up the ghosts. That is to say, the life force departs into the watery medium. After fermentation, we can distill from this mush a volatile liquid, which the ancients called the alchemical mercury. This volatile liquid, which is mainly alcohol, carries the spirit of the plant, the life force. Today we still buy spirits at the liquor store, and this is where the term comes from. Remember, these physical materials are a reflection of the spiritual forces in nature. The alcohol contains the life force as its body in this realm. The alcohol is not the spirit, but merely a vehicle of spirit in the plant world, a focal point, if you will. We now have separation of the three essentials, the oil or sulfur, the mercury as alcohol, and the salt, which still lies hidden in the extracted rosemary residue. The next step of the process is the purification of our separated essentials. The mercury and sulfur are redistilled a number of times until they are highly refined in the physical sense, but also exalted in the spiritual sense. To obtain the salt, the extracted plant material is dried and then incinerated to an ash. This purges the accumulated impurities and structural components which protected the plant in its growing environment. They have served their purpose but are no longer necessary. The light gray to white ash we obtain is dissolved in water, filtered, and the liquid is then evaporated, leaving a purified white crystalline salt. This represents the alchemical salt, the true body of the plant. With the separation and purification of our three essentials complete, we move on to the final step of the spagyric process, that of cohobation. In a sort of resurrection, the finely powdered salt is saturated with its sulfur and awakened into activity by addition of its life force, the mercury. After a period of digestion, our elixir is complete. The alchemists considered each preparation to be exalted and evolved living medicines able to express the plant's true healing potentials, not only on the body, but at the level of the soul and spirit as well. When now the spirit, this is from Isaac Holland, 1480. When now the spiritus and corpus have come together and are united after their preparation, one can do wonderful things with them, since they have then 100 times more power than they had previously. For after the conjunctio of the souls and body, there exists a glorified corpus and a great elixir. With it, one performs miracles. It's neat. It's very simple to do. Definitely worth trying, I would say. I've tried it, and pretty neat things can take place. Okay, now the easy method. This is where you don't need any of the fancy equipment or anything like that. Everyone can do this, and you probably have most of the materials at home already. The mercury within a kingdom is universal, so plant, animal, mineral. The life force that animates me is the same as that within each of you. The spirit we distill from one plant is largely the same as we would obtain from distilling any other fermented plant. That being the case, we can easily obtain our first essential from the local liquor store. They sell. I'm going to kick it over to... It's going to skip for a second. Okay, this should work better now, I'm hoping. Not on Wi-Fi anymore, and the router's, it's right here, it's not very far at all, I don't get it. Okay, back to where I was. 100 proof, okay, 95% alcohol, but this depends on which state you live in. 100 proof vodka is usually available. This is 50% alcohol and is a satisfactory medium for the beginning operation. but we can use any strong alcohol for this first operation, provided that only potable alcohol is used. Do not use denatured alcohol or methanol. So yeah, always make sure it's um, drinkable. You want to make sure that the alcohol you're consuming. Okay, I'm going to turn it back on then. It's going to buffer for what? Maybe? No? Okay. Yeah, make sure the alcohol that you don't go buy isopropyl or something like that. It has to be something that you can consume, because you're going to be consuming this alcohol. The mercury of each kingdom has an affinity for the sulfur of that kingdom. So to begin, take a plant you wish to work with and grind it to a fine powder. Place the powder into a jar. A canning jar works fine. Then pour your alcohol over the powder to cover it by 1 or 2 finger widths. Place a piece of plastic wrap over the top and screw the lid on tightly. The plastic wrap prevents contact with the metal top. You don't want your elixir to be coming into contact with metal. They make that very clear. Place the sealed jar into a warm place out of direct light. Yeah, no sunlight. No light at all. Warm place. The top of a water heater is a good spot. Let this stand for about 2 weeks and remember to shake it well every day. After the 2 weeks are up, you will see that the alcohol has become deeply colored. We want to collect this extract, and a good way to do it is to pour the entire contents into an old nylon placed into a second jar. Wearing rubber gloves, squeeze the nylon to obtain as much of the liquid as possible. Then seal the jar and let it stand. The liquid extract contains the combined mercury and sulfur of the plant. Take the extracted plant residue and place it into a fire-resistant dish outside. Touch a match to the herb and let it burn down to an ash. Grind the ash very fine and return it to the dish. Then place it over a gas burner or in the oven under broil to make it as light gray to white as possible. This ash contains the salt principle of the plant. Quickly grind the ash while still warm. Then add it to the extract of the plant you collected earlier. Again, seal the jar and let it stand in a warm place for at least a week. Shake the jar daily very well. At the end of the week, filter the liquid through a coffee filter and let it stand in a clean glass container for about 48 hours to see if any more insects will settle out. Decant the clarified extract into dropper bottles for use. This is now a simple spagyric elixir containing the 3 essentials of the plant in an exalted form and able to express the plant's truest and most powerful healing potentials on the various levels of our constitution. Remember that in each of these operations, if we can work with conscious intent and create a sacred space to work from, the more effective the end result will be. Now remember, when he's saying a more sacred space to work from, he's not talking about where you do it. He's not talking about where you're making the elixir, have, your this special candle burning here, or this or that. The sacred space is you. That's where the magic actually takes place. When it's sitting there in the bottle, it hasn't finished yet transmutating. The final transmutation will take place within you, and you need to be as pure as you're trying to make them. You have to do your part in this. That's a big part of it. It's all about purifying your body, and you can't do it if you're going out and partying and drinking and smoking and drinking pop all day and eating all this garbage. You have to try and cleanse your body and give it a temple, a safe place, a safe, clean place. That's what they're talking about. It's really got me thinking a lot about okay. And remember, it says to work with conscious intent. So when you're doing all these operations, these different, you're shaking it every day. Don't just pick it up and shake it and start thinking about, what you're going to do. Okay, I got to get my shower, I got to do this, I got to do that, You don't want to do that. Concentrate on it. Concentrate on what you're doing. If you're not speaking out loud to it, you know, communicate with it mentally. You know, it's a new being that you're creating. Treat it like one. And the better relationship you have with that, it'll help you out that much more. So, okay, back to the book. Remember that in each of these operations, if we can work with conscious intent and create a sacred space to work from, the more effective the end result will be. We also want to keep within astrological timings, favorable to the plant as much as we are able. If one is skilled in astrology, one can elect a powerful time to work the various operations. Perhaps the easiest thing to do here in these beginning experiments is to take note of the waxing and waning moon, as we mentioned earlier, and also work on the day whose planet rules the herb we operate on, preferably within the hour following sunrise. Creating the 7 basics. Our suggestion here is that you create what are known as the 7 basics. By utilizing the spagyric methods just described, one can create 7 elixirs, one for each day of the week. Your sun herb elixir is taken on Sunday, a moon herb elixir on Monday, and so on. A few drops in a small amount of water or wine is a good way to start. This will begin to gently harmonize each system of the body and start a process of rebalancing and transformation at all levels. See the appendix for information on herbs and their ruling planets. You really are what you eat. By using these 7 basics over time, the redefined and spiritualized matter becomes part of you, and in turn you become more refined and spiritualized. It is said that the attitude of the artist, more than the process itself, is what makes alchemy the divine art. Oh, settle down. We're going to go out in a second, okay, bud? Just give me a minute, all right? This attitude and energy becomes transferred to the matter being acted upon and affects the outcome of the operation. The energy is released again within us from the elixir in a more noble state. You are the lead, which is transmuted into pure gold. As with any new skill, we start with simple things and progress to more complex operations as our skill and experience lead us. We have to make a start somewhere, and these simple procedures form the beginnings of a fascinating process of self-transformation. And that's as far as I've gotten to actually doing any of this stuff. I've made my 7 basics. Is it hard to do? No. No, you have to have willpower to do it. You have to be strong that way. But the actual process of it all, settle down, is very simple. Next week we're going to go over the alchemical processes. I'll read them off to you real quick, what it tells us. We'll get into the 4 degrees of fire, but it starts with distillation, digestion, extraction, fermentation, sublimation, circulation, calcination. And those are the steps that we're going to be covering next week. Would I consider myself an alchemist? I practice alchemy. I don't know if I'd consider myself an alchemist. I just consider myself really. I don't like to put labels on myself at all, really, you know? I don't put myself into categories. Um, yeah, the astronomy, the astrology. I need to do a lot more digging into this to because I don't know that much about it. When I started doing this, this was probably about 2012 when I first started practicing alchemy, maybe 2013. And I kind of fell off of it right when the whole flat earth thing came around. I kind of got swept up in all that, and it just, you know, but it made this make so much more sense. So many things in here. And if you guys are here when I'm covering it, you can tell it's talking about this place being a realm. You know, this isn't, there's a lot to this place that is understood, well understood, but hidden from us, occulted, you know, into, it's secret now, information. And it gives them power. You know, because we don't know what we are capable of. And I mean, our bodies. I was on Iron Realm Media on Friday, and Adam, a great guy, Adam Meekin, was talking about how the I lost my train of thought now. I just said Adam's name, and I just started thinking about all kinds of Legos came into my brain. But yeah, we're gonna head out to the garden here. It's like 114 heat index right now. I didn't do too much today. It got kind of warm. I was having a conference this morning with a few gentlemen concerning perspective. It was great chat. It lasted a while though, and it got warm pretty quick this morning. So I got out here a little bit, but I didn't get to. Okay, come on, everybody. You guys want to come out? Come on, you coming? Let's go, beef. A little bit. Aloe plant's looking real good. I need to make some new ones out of the babies down here. But yeah, I love my aloe plant. I gotta keep this Virginia creeper away from it. I'm letting it go this year. It's wanting to climb up here. I'm trying to keep it off all the other plants though, because it'll choke it out. This thing has seen much better days. I don't know if it's got any life left in it or not. A little bit down here starting, but it had a rough winter. It's old. It's getting real old. These you can't destroy, mother-in-law's tongues. I got a couple spider plants. Compost bucket. Pineapples and strawberries and bananas and bees though. I don't know how well they're gonna do. I need to put up some more shade for them. But underneath all this stuff right here are some golden seal starts. I don't want to mess with them too much. Let me see if I can't. Oh, right there, see that guy? That little yellow thing? That's them. We're just gonna let them hang out there and see what they do. They got 12 of them in here. And the reason I put them here is because this plate gets a lot of shade. Let's see here. Yeah, I did a little bit of weeding stuff. Got it cleaned out a little bit. I need to hit over there. It just got real hot real quick. It had like a 110 heat index. Hey Nathan, how we doing, man? Let me see you, Nathan. Yeah, I'm just showing off the garden. Just had a little chat about astrology and alchemy. Hope you had a lovely day. That beautiful daughter of yours. Some new strawberry starts getting big. That one's not even in, oh, it is in the ground. He's just laying over a little bit. It's hot. I don't blame him. This guy I need to move a little bit. So we'll have another strawberry out here. This guy is not in the ground yet. Yeah, a lot of starts. I do see some new fresh strawberries starting in here too. So we're gonna have some more strawberries. Here's another one. There's another one down in there. There's a nice strawberry flower in there. Yeah, this guy, I don't know if he's gonna make it. These days really mess with him. I hope he does. I shouldn't have moved him that early like I did. But all these are the old strawberry leaves, and he gets some new growth coming out of them, but he's having a rough time. We'll see what happens. Some lambs here I'm letting go underneath the porch here. That's good eating. And then we got our wild strawberries. They're vining out and spreading too. As you notice though, they're much smaller. Everything about them is smaller. They're done producing now. They only produce up until, well, we might get another one if it cools off. Pepper plants are looking beautiful. Just amazing. I don't want to touch them too much. I don't see any peppers yet on this one. I see some little, the ball starting. And this guy here, another flower hanging there. And this guy's got a pepper hanging, almost touching the ground already. And this one guy's got a couple peppers hanging already. I'm hoping they turn red, so when they get peppers on them this early, you really want them to mature and get them off the plant so the plant can grow. They grow better when they don't have the peppers on them at a young age. And once you get rid of those peppers, it allows the plant to get a lot bigger. See how it's splitting here and it's splitting up here? It'll just keep splitting and turn into a big bush. Tomato plant is looking boss. This thing is just, I'm gonna get another wire fence and go up another one and see if I can't get him to be a 6-footer. Yeah, his stalk is just doing beautiful. Don't see any tomatoes as of yet. No balls. I see plenty of flowers, but I don't see any actual tomatoes yet. That's all right. Just take your time, friend. The mint is doing some amazing stuff. Look at these mint. They're really just going gangbusters. Now right here, you could clip it off right here. See how these two shoots are coming out of the main stalk? I could even go lower if you wanted more of the mint. Oh, hello there, beautiful lady. Want to say hi? Yeah, hi. I know. Oh, there's a weed. But yeah, it looks like it's already grown out here, so you wouldn't want to do it there. This one's starting to grow out. You wouldn't want to do it there. That one's even starting to grow. This plant is doing amazing. Yeah, I love the smell of them. Then the berries, these guys are little, but they'll be better next year. A lot of fresh starts. The berries got so heavy that they're hanging on the ground. Make it a lot easier for ants. Hey guys, hey. You guys, hey, hey, hey. Are you done? They don't like when the cats are in the garden. They howl, and one cat ran across over there. Sweetness, she took off that way. But yeah, as soon as the cats go someplace that they're not allowed to go, that's it. It's time. We gotta yell and make a big old fuss about it. But they're done now. It was that easy. This is my spearmint patch. I mean, I love it. Spearmint will help keep a lot of bugs out of your garden. It's a very pungent oil that it puts off, and it's hard for really anything to breathe in. If you were to get into a mint still, where I live here in northern Indiana, in Stark County, there's a lot of mint fields. We grow a lot of mint around here, and they used to make the stuff for peppermint and spearmint gum. But the oil, like 1 ounce of oil, I forget how many thousands and thousands of sticks of gum it makes. It's crazy. But if you get into one of the distill trucks, the hoppers, and for people who smoke cigarettes, they'd tell them, oh yeah, go ahead, light up a cigarette. And for some reason, you pass out like instantly when you inhale this stuff real deep. I don't know what it is, but I think that's what affects bugs as well. It's just so strong. I'm hoping it gets real big. I've been watering it. One year I had it, it was like 4.5 feet, almost 5 feet tall. It was so cool, so beautiful. So I've been trying to keep it weeded pretty good. I don't know, with my new schedule, I haven't had a chance to garden as much as I'd like. It's really been hard. There's a new guy. Some more blackberries here, blackberries. Blueberry bush that has never done anything. Poor guy. He's still alive, but he just doesn't do much. Doesn't grow very much. The friend I had bought him passed away last year. He's got growth even down here in the bottom, but he just doesn't, I don't know. They're not happy here. I don't know what it is. The tree trunk with everything growing out of it. You can barely even see the tree trunk anymore. Wow, I missed a whole bunch of stuff this morning. It was getting hot and I was getting in a hurry. Can't get in a hurry, folks. I was lazy today, and I shouldn't have been. And I apologize, guys. I'm sorry I haven't been taking better care of all you out here. Putting in effort. Oh, we got some berries. I knew it was going to be happening here soon. Within the next couple weeks, all these berries are going to start turning. But yeah, right there. Oh. Where are you at? There you go. They're all going to start turning here pretty soon. A lot of milkweed. It's not getting very big. I should thin it out. I'm just going to let it do what it does, though. And this has all kinds of stuff growing in it that is not milkweed. Yeah, when you see this stuff, let it grow, folks, if it's not in some place that's bothering you too bad. It's the only food that monarch butterflies will eat. It's not the prettiest flower, but it does make a flower. Zucchini's doing pretty good. I didn't even get over here to weed. I feel so bad. I'm sorry, guys. Plenty of flowers, but I'm just not getting any zucchini yet. Always check the back side of your leaves for squash bugs or stink bugs, whatever you call them. They'll look like little gold BBs. They're the eggs that they lay, and they will just decimate these things. They always show up first on these. And what I do, I just come down here as close to the stalk as I can, if say it was on this one, and I'll just cut it. And a lot of water will come out and everything like that, and you know, I always apologize, but it'll help the rest of the plant survive. You know, when you get the gangrene or whatnot and you have to cut off your foot, or the frostbite, it's kind of the same thing. This guy's doing good as well. Nice big leaves. They're gonna get bigger. And then that guy, I'm not even sure what that thing is. This, still quite a few berries here. They're not as, I should have trimmed them, I think, a little bit more. Kept them down to about 3 or 4 feet. I have that there to block the sun in the morning so it's not hitting the golden seal. I need to build it a little shade thing. Green beans, they were all turning over before. So they don't, see how they're facing the bottom of themselves to the sun? I've seen maple trees do this before. When it's real hot like this, it starts getting dry, they'll actually turn their leaves over and show the shiny part. So they're not absorbing so much heat. It's the only thing I can think of. Wow, look at that guy. He's all the way. Oh. I'm going to train him a little bit here and just throw him up over there. Oh, come on. They got such a weird feel to them. They'll grab you. You don't even have to grab them. Oh, he's not going to do it. There we go. And he's got a buddy wrapped around him. But yeah, they're all... And this guy right here, I still have not moved any more. And it keeps laying off these, and it's only growing down that one. Now it's just growing straight up. I gave him a big old drink of water today. Said thank you for not growing towards the green beans. Got a little bit of weeds down here. Yeah, always try to get as much of the weed out as you can. Pull firm but soft at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. The plant will tell you. You'll feel it when it's about to break, and you kind of let off a little bit. But you can get them to where you get all the root. So the green beans are looking good. We'll go back here and check out the blackberries real quick. Or the raspberries. You guys want to go out up there for a sec? Berries are still pretty small. I've been watering them. Hey Anthony, how you doing, man? Just showing off the berries in the gardens and whatnot. It should be a pretty good harvest. I've never seen them put out this many before. So I'm hoping it's a good one. It appears like it's going to be. They seem happy. Some of them are withering away already. I don't know, it's been hot. I've been giving them lots of water, but there's a lot of berries on there, a lot of berries. This apple tree, I don't know what to do here. Yeah, it's getting the spots on it. Those yellow, it's some kind of rot. It's a red cedar rot, I think it's called. I don't know what to do. I don't like putting chemicals and stuff on my plants. I don't want to. In my books it says when they're, you know, when your plant's not growing right there or something keeps happening to it, the plant wasn't meant to grow there. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to let him live out his life and see what happens. You know, I don't want to pull him out if he's got a chance, but yeah, those aren't good. Are you guys, what are you doing? Are you guys getting those plums? The fallen plums. Yeah, they're all over the tree. I can't wait. This is the first year it's produced, so I'm kind of excited. Hey, how we doing, Andres? And here is a friend that I planted. I didn't plant him, but I found him a few years ago. It's this oak tree right here. And we decided that we were going to be I can't let it grow. It's got power lines right above it. But I'm going to let it be my, it's going to be my staff one day, my walking stick. It knows it. It's growing nice and straight for me right here. Through this part. And I'm going to pull out the whole root system down in here. I'm going to get all the roots out, so I want to get as much of it as I can and use that as the head of my staff. You guys are all just being so lovely out here, huh? Well, thank you. Then yucca plants. Just found out that dogs can hallucinate eating them. Wow, look at all the ants on here. These are going to open up into real pretty flowers. Actually, some have already opened up. We'll go check those out real quick. Come on, guys. Here's something I haven't even really touched this year. I'm just letting it go wild. I wish I could do it to my whole yard. Wow, look at the berries on that. They are ready. Oh, there's a bug eating that one. Well, that is yours, friend. You enjoy that. All right, and this one will be mine. Right here. Oh, yeah. So good. I'm gonna pick a couple. And I don't mind eating them out of my garden raw. Stuff that you buy at the grocery store, though, always wash. You don't know where that stuff has been. Always clean all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna pop these in right now. There's all the weeding I did over the week. It's not like I've been super lazy or anything. It's just, man. Oh, here's the yucca plants that have opened up. It's a pretty flower. They hang kind of funny, and I mean, it's not a horribly ugly looking plant, but everybody says they're just real hard to get rid of. Need to cut down all these oak trees, rip them out. A lot of work to do still. Yucca there, and then we're just back to this side of the, there's a pile of gold. Come on, everybody. Where you at, Sarah, baby? Sarah, there she is. Are you getting her, Cena, baby? There's the old 2 sticks in the ground experiment. I still got to check that. I should have checked it today. Hasn't been in my brain though. I'll do it on the solstice. Those are the ones I have marked for sure, the exact times. See if they're the same. More yuccas and succulents and all that. What are you eating? What are you guys eating? And then over to the last garden. The old frisbee. He won't ever bring it back to me. How's everybody doing in here, huh? Wow, look at all those flowers on that guy. We're gonna go take a closer look. Now, I told you guys to stop growing towards them, didn't I? You guys can't choke these guys out. He's got to share. So let's just move you a little bit this way, okay? That's it. I'm done. I won't move you no more, but you got to stay away. The flowers on him. Each one of those will be a pickle. Huh, baby girl. And that guy's got a bunch of them on him. And look at how good these guys are doing. They're all standing up. Oh, hold on a sec. Scrappy's there. Okay, everybody's close. Are you rubbing on my feet? You just being a loving baby girl. Huh? Hmm. Oh, she's such a good girl. That hunts birds and is evil to them. Yeah. It's funny because I'll be out here gardening and she'll come and lay up underneath my feet and there'll be birds chirping all around me because she just got into their nest. She's a cat. Huh? You're a cat, huh? You kissing me? Are you kissing me? You attacking? Oh, that's a good girl. Okay. Yeah, these are all looking really, really good. I'm going to probably start a tincture with them here shortly. I'm going to check out the calendars and all that good stuff, and this will be not an end tincture yet. I'm going to start with a spagyric just to get myself used to that harmonic vibration that these plants put off. And you, where are we going to put you? You want to go this way? There you go. Yeah, you got to train the pickles and cucumbers if there's other plants around, because they will wrap onto them and just choke them out, kill them. I've had them all over. They're going to be growing up, you'll see later on. They're going to be growing up the fence and hanging down, and some are going to try to go through the fence. You'll have them doing one of these numbers where one side will be over here and the other side will be over there, and they get real fat. And wow, he's got some soon to be pickles. Yeah, I've been neglectful though. I haven't been out here as much as I should. It's been really hot early. I had that video conference this morning, which I can't wait to share this stuff with you guys. Just amazing, just so well researched. He doesn't like when I call it genius, but it's just so well researched to figure it out. Yeah, I'm going to be making, he said I could make a video on one of his diagrams that he had. I'll be making it here real shortly on perspective and how the human eye works. It's genius. It's just so obvious. Once you wrap your head around it, it's like, wow, that's okay. So I think I'm gonna cut this one short, guys. That'll be it. We did those couple chapters. I really didn't want to start because of glow busters yet, but I got to get it over with before too long. I got to get up early. Yeah, isn't it, Chris? Chris is in on the conversation. He knows. Just something that we've all overlooked. Something so simple and obvious, but just overlooked. Kind of like Adam with his planisphere, showing how, well, yeah, that's how the eclipse works. They've been measuring it like this forever. And the equinoxes, 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night, all that stuff. Scrappy! Beef! Where you at, pal? There's a big beef. Look at him go. All right, big guy. And the mulberry tree. There's a lot of the berries now. You can see them all over. I'm gonna have to come out here and pick all these. Make a smoothie. Well, part of a smoothie at least. Well, thank you all for joining me. The astronomy, or astrology I should say, makes so much more sense in the flat earth model now. And whoa, kind of fell down there. And I need to start applying it to my alchemical processes. It's another one of those steps that you got to take. And I'm willing to take it. It's just the research that's going to be involved. I need to get a few more books and get a little bit more involved. You guys, come on. You guys ready? Let's go close this gate and head in. Yeah, I can't wait, Chris. Yeah. I'm hoping to get at least 100 jars of pickles this year and give away at least 5 buckets of cucumbers. Aw. Shout out to one of my old dogs. He was probably my best guy ever. Right there. Yeah, I try to let as much of the yard go natural as I can. I mean, I am zoned commercial or agricultural, so I don't have to be real prim and proper around here. But I try to keep it somewhat. Just for the dogs, the ticks and all that kind of stuff. I like to have them a little bit bigger yard than just this little spot here. I like to get them out there. There aren't a whole lot of parks. I'm not one of those people that likes to put collars on dogs. I don't like to do that. In order to go to a park, you have to have the collar and all that jazz, and I don't like doing that. Hank's never been on a leash as long as I've owned him. He's a free roamer, huh? Yeah, he's a good guy. But that'll be it for today, folks. Hopefully, if you got any extra good vibes to send some to my golden seal, please. They could use it. They're young and in a new place. I'm just hoping that they do all right. We'll see. We'll see if it's a good enough spot. I may have picked a bad one, I don't know. But plants are amazing. They're hardy. They're just like us. Even when they get things that aren't just right for them to survive, they still survive. They're awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of medicine with those right there, the cayenne peppers. I'm hoping to make magical medicine with those. My lemon balm. I'm gonna make preserves with some of the berries here. Oils and stuff, medicines with the mint. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, you all have a great evening. Take care. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys around. Good times for all signing out. As always, thanks for watching.